everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review for 5 to 1 by Bodger. So I was sent an arc of this in exchange for a review from Penguin Random House, so thank you so much Penguin Random House for sending me this. I was so excited for this book when I heard about it because it has like kind of complicated but like really cool synopsis, and the cover is just absolutely gorgeous. So this book comes out on May 12th. I will probably be putting this review up on like May 9th or 10th, kind of close to it, so then you can get an idea of if this book sounds like it would be for you. So this book is a dystopian taking place in the year 2052 in India, and after decades of gender selection, the ratio of men to women is now women to men is now 5 to 1. So there are 5 women for every 1 man. And obviously for reasons of like procreation and all that, now women are a very pricey commodity. So now instead of selling their daughters to the highest bidder, women have decided to take the power into their hands. And they have made this series of tests that there will be 5 or 4 men that will be competing for this one woman, and she gets to choose who wins the most tests and who ends up being able to marry her. So in this book we have Sudasa and Kiran. Sudasa is the girl who does not want to be married, but she is going through the tests and choosing her husband, and Kiran is a boy who is one of the contestants in the tests, and he really doesn't want to be a husband. So it's basically the journey of both of them through this test and how they're going to deal with the fate that they have been handed. Now with dystopian, it's really hard to find unique dystopians, but this one is completely like blew me out of the water unique. It's different than anything I've ever heard of. So for one, it takes place in India, and it has that whole like kind of gender selection thing, which is kind of playing off of present day events. And for another thing, parts of it are told in verse. So Sudasa's parts are told in verse, and the language is just very interesting because and then Kiran's parts, because it's told in dual perspective, Kiran's parts are told in prose. But the verse parts, the writing of them is just so beautiful. Now I'm going to show you an example. So see, here we have sit, and there's actually arrows, and then it's like the word itself is sitting. And just that whole aspect of having the words act out what they're saying just added so much to the writing, and it was just really beautifully written. And I think taking a dystopian and making it poetic and very lyrical made it just so intriguing, because you're expecting to be reading this beautiful poem, but it's actually a really sad and heartbreaking story. My main recommendation when going into this book is to forget everything you're expecting, forget every other dystopian book you've read, every other book you've read, and just go into it and just enjoy it. Because I think if you do have expectations, you're probably going to be disappointed, because it's just so unique and so different, and it's really not at all what I was expecting, but I did still enjoy it. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I can see how you kind of have to like adjust your perspective in reading this book, because it really isn't the typical YA book, because it's so poetic and so lyrical that it just kind of takes you into that world, and it's just really beautiful. The plot, I did have a couple of issues with. I felt like the plot was a little bit dry. I did like the whole idea of the plot, but it only takes place during the tests. Like, this book just follows the tests. You don't get to see what happens after, and I was expecting to see what happens afterwards, so that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop, but I did still enjoy it. I thought it was an interesting turn that it took, and really what you expect to happen does not happen. Like, nothing I expected to happen happened in this book, and I did really enjoy kind of being surprised by that. Characters were interesting. Sudasa, I think I liked more as a character. She knew what she wanted, and she knew what was wrong with the whole situation that she had been forced into, and she did kind of stand up for herself. But I think my main issue with the characters was they were all kind of vague. Kiran, you don't really get to know much about him. They're all kind of not very introspective characters. They're very much one-dimensional. And Kiran, you don't really get to like I said, you don't really get to know much about him, and he really just kind of complained and complained about the same things, but I can also see where that was coming from, and he did have a little bit, like, you do get to know a little bit about him, but I wish we had known more. So yeah, overall, I would recommend this book if you guys are looking for something completely unique and different. I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. This book comes out on May 12th if you are interested, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!